by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his Guru Maharaj. He was having iron will determination and self-confidence about his mission. He was not doubtful at all. He was Dhrudvrat, staunchly determined. Actually, he was always preaching Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam Eva Kevalam, Kalova Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatiranyata. No other way except Hare Krishna Nam. So always discussing. Sometime the whole night he was discussing with me. And sometime I was fed up. I was requesting, please don't disturb me. Please let me sleep. And the old man, missionary worker, he was just like a young man. I was a young chap, and he was just like my friend, my elder brother. He was like my guide and teacher, because the preacher is a friend, philosopher, and guide. So that's where we left. And then from that point, we went on to Dr. Dingras. So we will continue reading. He was always trying to create a good atmosphere through Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. The whole Bhagavad Gita was his practical life. His mission was not a mission of preaching only, but of practical action. He was also trying to catch me for this mission, and I would try to slip away. I did not think that he would do any miracle for spiritual revolutions of the world, although that is what he urges. While Dr. Sastri tended his clinic, Abhay sat and spoke with patients, occasionally recommending medicines, but mostly preaching. For now, he was content to live and preach in Jhansi. Here was life. People receptive to his preaching, who responded to his urging them to chant Hare Krishna. His desire and determination to leave everything else behind and preach day and night, depending on Krishna for the result, were increasing. He began regularly lecturing and chanting at various programs in the city, sometime at several in one day. On Sundays, he would lecture at the Sadhana Mandir, another day at the Gita Mandir, another day at the Theosophical Society, and regularly in people's homes. Mr. Ram Mitra, the shopkeeper poet, maintained a Shiva temple near his house, and Abhay began to perform kirtan and lecture there. Sometime Mr. Mitra would speak in Hindi on Bhagavad Gita at the Sadhana Mandir, and Abhay would attend. Sometime Abhay would visit Mr. Mitra at his utensil shop. The shop was in a crowded Jhansi Bazaar and open onto the busy street. Abhay would sit down like an ordinary customer amid stacks of stainless steel buckets, plates, bowls, and lotus, and speak to Mr. Mitra and friends about Chaitanya Charitamrita. Or sometime he would listen to Mr. Mitra tell about his published book of poetry and his literary reputation. Mr. Mitra saw that Abhay's ambition was no less than to make the whole city of Jhansi alive with Krishna consciousness. Abhay quoted Chaitanya Charitamrita, quote, "One who has received the great fortune of taking birth in India should make his life perfect and then do good for others by spreading Krishna consciousness." And Abhay would add, "The whole world is waiting, Mr. Mitra, for our spiritual revolution." Mr. Mitra would nod his handsome Nehru-like face forming a smile. But he saw that Abhay wanted people to do more than merely listen to him. He wanted them to do something. Once Mr. Mitra offered Abhay a copy of his book, showing him the foreword by a famous man, and repeatedly mentioned that the great Sadhu Vinoba Bhave had liked the poems very much. When Mr. Mitra learned that Abhay was a regular milk drinker, he began offering Abhay fresh milk daily from his cow, a black cow. And black cow, Mr. Mitra said, gave especially good milk. Abhay invited Mr. Mitra to accompany him on foot to nearby villages, along with a kirtan party for preaching. But Mr. Mitra declined, being unable to get anyone to tend the shop for him. Another young Ayurvedic doctor, Mr. Siddhi, who immediately expressed interest in Abhay's enthusiastic plans for spreading Krishna consciousness. So Dr. Siddhi, in his own word, is explaining. He came several times to my place. I have got a kirtan room on my roof, and he performed kirtan there, as well as at the Gita Mandir. We were also going daily to the Theosophical Society. There was an atmosphere, a very pious, sacred, and calm atmosphere when the kirtan and preaching and lectures were performed. He used to play harmonium. We accompanied him for meeting people and preaching his mission. The main thing was to perform kirtan and give a lecture on the Bhagavad Gita and the life of Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was his Lord, and I also loved him. Radhelal Mulik, secretary of the Gita Mandir and Sadhana Mandir, began meeting often with Abhay. Radhelal Mulik, in his own word, describing, I was very much influenced by him. I used to spend 3 or 4 hours every morning in his association. He had many big scriptures. He was mainly concerned about the books about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was also writing at that time. The president of the Gita Mandir and I both volunteered to cook for him. It was during a morning walk with Radhelal Mulik that Abhay first spotted the Bharti Bhavan, a picturesque temple complex across from the large Antiya Pond. The neighborhood known as Antiya Tav was quiet and sparsely populated, but it was near Sipri Road, the main thoroughfare between downtown Jhansi and Sipri Bazaar. Abhay inquired from Mr. Mulik about the temple, and together they turned from the main road and walked down a sloping footpath that led through the main gates of the compound. There they found several secluded acres nested within a grove of neem and mango trees. The main structure was Radha Memorial. It was small like a chapel, but its proportions were stout and bold. Sitting on an octagonal stone base, it rose on 8 ornate pillars of red and white chipped marble to a stone dome on top. 2 elephants bearing the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, on their upraised trunks, decorated the entrance. Concrete bunting and strip patterns of red, green, and blue added to the decorative yet massive effect. The entrance was marked with the words Radha Smarak carved in Hindi script, and about it in English translation, Radha Memorial. When Abhay saw the Sanskrit inscriptions across the side of the stone temple, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, he turned to Radhilal Mulik and said strongly, "The Lord has built this building for my use." Hare Bol. From that moment, Abhay was determined to have that building. Mr. Mulik explained that the temple had been built in 1939 as a memorial to the wealthy Vaishnava landowner Radhabhai, but at the present was not in use. Dr. Prabhakar Mishra, whom Abhay had already met on several occasions, was occupying some of the rooms, but otherwise it was deserted. Mr. Mulik and Abhay sought Dr. Mishra in his quarter in the main building. And when Dr. Mishra saw Abhay's enthusiasm, he invited Abhay to stay there with him. Dr. Mishra confirmed that except for his Sunday morning Gita class, the facility was sitting idle, and he welcomed Abhay to carry on his writing and preaching there. Abhay liked the idea. Immediately, he began thinking of uses for the building, surveying the land with increasing interest. A second, larger building, also with stone pillar and facades, held a hall and 5 rooms. Abhay made mental plan for each room. In this room, kirtanas and lectures with large gathering. In this room, the deity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this room, residence brahmacharis and sannyasis. Guest here, office here, the printing press here. There was even land for grazing a cow. It was a self-contained unit. Hundreds of people could come here for kirtan, prasadam, and discourses. Preacher could go out from here distributing back to Godhead magazine. Some could even go abroad with Lord Chaitanya message. I think it's 6:54. Yes. So let's stop. And devotee who has to go to perform their duty, they are most welcome to leave.